should have sent you a Tavern mug. Now I'll send you a Tavern mug. Joe Messina, the genius. Hey, man, if you don't have a mug, just pretend, and we'll clank in the Tavern. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I got to cheat.
He's getting one. He's going to cheat. Oh, even better, it's a Joe Messina mug. I've got a Joe Messina mug. I should have dug that out and
see.
And
I
used
can
it.
see, but I can have a real cup of Joe. You can't.
So good. So good. Hey, welcome, everybody. Joe Messina, my special guest tonight, because we were together at the same place we were together, 5 years ago, filming Biblical Citizenship at Rob McCoy's church. And those of you that are listening or watching, you might remember in week 8 of Biblical Citizenship, Joe joins me on stage with Scarlett and Ken, and we talk about action steps. And at the time, Joe was on the school board in the minority, fighting every day. And unfortunately, just like when I was in the minority in the Texas legislature, I fought. Most days I lost. Once in a while I got a victory, but most days I lost. And anyway, so Joe and I were reminiscing out in the hallway and said, we got to catch up on air. So, man, welcome to the program. Thanks for coming on.
Well, I'm honored and glad to be here. I try to catch you most of the time, but my show's 6 to 9, so it's kind of tough. I have to go get back and get the repeats, you know?
I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, let me just first say thank you for staying in the fight for so long, for being on the front lines. You like I mentioned when I ever said to anybody to flee California, Rob McCoy slapped me upside the head and said, "Stop being a weenie and stay in the fight." And you've been one of those guys that's never wussed out and man. Defeat after defeat after defeat in elections, and then lose elections, win elections. I've been there. Get on the school board and have to be the one voice out of the whole school board for years. Then you finally get another ally, and then and you told me Saturday night that you now have 4 votes. You have a majority on the school board. So this is massive. I mean, 20-something years you've been fighting for this.
Oh, and you know what, Rick? It's amazing to watch it. We don't have enough time, but to watch it go down play by play. I mean, I had a woman on the board that had this big gold cross on her neck, and every time she'd show up, and yet she was the most anti-Jesus person I know. She didn't want Christian counselors on campus. So many other things, and then. There was a gay fellow married to another gay fellow here in California with 2 kids. He got voted on the board, and it knocked off one of the only other Christians we had on the board. Well, we're in California, and I'm like, God, what am I doing here? What's the plan? Like, give me a half a page. Let me know what's happening. But anyhow, we drove him out with prayer and standing strong, and we got a good, solid Christian. You met her. Her name is Erin Wilson, and she said hi to you there at the event.
She did, yeah. I got to talk to her after the service, yeah. And wait, before we go any further, I know we have listeners that may not have heard you when you were on before that are confused right now because we said you're from California. And yet you sound an awful like you're from Philly or somewhere like that. So,
I thought we were friends. Are you for real?
Boston. Boston. I meant to say Boston. What am I saying? Oh, what an insult.
Listen, you should be excited. I grew up a block and a half from the Old North Church. I used to hide in Cops Hill Cemetery and scare little kids on Halloween. I grew up in history.
You must have been super excited Saturday when I was telling the story of Dr. Joseph Warren then. That must have been like you're going. You were like Horseshack going me. Oh, you wanted to come up and help me tell the story of it. No, so sorry about that. But I know people are thinking he doesn't sound like he's from California. From Boston, grew up around all that history. Did you like history when you were growing up? I mean, like you're right there in the middle of it. It's sometimes hard to appreciate it when you grow up around it.
No, you know what? I didn't really get it. I mean, here I am growing up in the streets of Boston. Yeah, there's old buildings, old wharfs, that old church that they had. Paul Revere's house looked like it should have been moved along 100 years ago. So you're right. You don't really get it. You won't really appreciate it. I'll tell you what I did appreciate it, though. My mom moved us out to Milton, Massachusetts. And my history teacher in high school had a monotone voice, so figure that one out. But he was so good at explaining the little wars that they had and how they moved around inside the city and outside of the city. It excited me so much. That's when I really got turned on to history.
No kidding. All right. Yeah. So grew up right there in the heart of it all. End up in California. You were already before you ran for school board. You were already sort of an activist, right? I mean, like this was pre-Tea Party, because I think you told me Saturday 2001 was the first time you really got it started. Looking at the school board.
Yeah, so I was going to the school board. I didn't know anything about politics. I could have cared less at that time, right? And so I went to the school board. I was trying to get them to put the career tech education programs back in. Coming from Boston, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, you've got them all around you. So they were closing them down here. So I started fighting at the school board level, and I was getting nowhere. I felt like I was getting flipped off in public, And finally, that's when I decided. My wife says, hey, do something about it. Our joke around here is get off the couch drooling all over yourself and do something about it. So I did.
That's right.
I ran and lost. I ran again and I lost. And the third time she looked at me and said, are you sure this is from God? I said, look, my job from a friend of mine I heard years ago is to get up and you go ahead and you do what you're supposed to do, and God's responsible for the outcome. And so Buck McKeon, I don't know if you remember him, the congressman from California, very powerful congressman, threw everything he could at me in that third election to keep me out, and I won. And I beat the person that he got behind and put a lot of money behind.
Third time. So I didn't remember this part. So you ran twice and lost, came back, ran the third time and won. Yep. What year was that? How long ago was that?
Oh God, that had to be a 1, 3, 5, 7 is when I finally got in.
07. So man, so even then you get on, you're I guess at that point one vote. I mean, and even then, and this may not be fair to you, so please correct me if I'm wrong. I bet you were still even developing some of your worldview and perspective, and it's kind of like you get hit with all this stuff and these new issues that you hadn't dealt with in the past. Or did you kind of already have a solid biblical worldview and already have studied a lot of this stuff?
No, I hadn't studied a lot of this stuff. I knew that we had a responsibility. How I knew that, God got the Holy Spirit probably poured it into my head. But I knew we had an obligation to take care of the things that God gave us, and I knew that God gave us government, and I knew that God allowed us to govern ourselves, if you would, through elections. But I didn't really take that into the board or into what I was doing at first. When I first got on the board, and I started to see, the saying behind closed doors is it's for the kids. It's for the kids. Well, I learned pretty quick it had nothing to do with the kids. Wow. And when I started seeing the books they were pushing through, that was when my belief in Christ started to boil up. And I go, wait a minute, we can't subject the kids to this. We can't let them do this. We shouldn't be having them in these classes.
It wasn't your spidey senses that were tingling. Your spidey senses weren't tingling. Your Holy Spirit senses were tingling.
Bingo. And in my vernacular, the Holy Spirit kept slapping me upside the head and going, hey, right there, look at that. You got to stop that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Messina's a little thick.
That's interesting, too, because that would have been, honestly, before most people were paying attention to it. And I don't know if you can bring your mic down any or not. It's a little bit hot on our end.
How's that?
Let's see.
Any better?
I don't. Yeah. That is better.
Okay.
Thank you. So that would have been honest. That would have been before most people were paying attention to the textbook issue and just recognizing that a lot of this junk was getting put into the schools. Because I mean, really, you didn't hear a lot of people talk about that until 3, 4, 5 years ago. So you're hitting that stuff 10 years ago.
Yeah, and we were hitting it. The first book that I came against was a book that had a descriptive rape scene in it. Figure that one out. And I had a mom come to me and say, "Are you good with this, Mr. Messina?" I said, "Well, I don't even know what you're talking about." So I read it, and I went, "Okay, this is bad." So when we got into the board meeting, I brought it up, and I said, "Is this really age appropriate?" And I had teachers telling me that I was out of line because they were teachers, they were educators, they knew it was right for your kid. And I was the first guy to crack that book open and start reading it.
Wow.
And everybody in the place, oh, hey, what are you doing? That's, well, wait a minute, this is for our kids, right? This is junior high school kids. I'm an old guy. What's the problem? This shouldn't be an issue.
And how dare you, as the elected school board member, elected to run the school district, how dare you question those teachers?
The teachers. I'd still like that. So
I bet they came after you in the next election.
Rick, you don't have enough time. They have thrown everything at me. They have put up false things about me. In the last election, they ran around and they put these big signs, they're probably like 13 by 19, over my signs that said, "Parents Against Joe Messina." And they started a Twitter account, "Parents Against Joe Messina." And I've had a lot of fun with it, though. I've learned you can't fix stupid. You can't beat up stupid. That doesn't work either, apparently. You just got to kind of look and smile and keep moving forward.
Well, there's so many things I want to ask you, and for our wall builders audience, we don't have as long as we have in the tavern. We can talk a little longer, but I want to get this in for our wall builders audience. You have a joy about you despite all of these attacks. How do you do that? How do you stay in that count it all joy when you experience various trials mindset?
Well, first of all, it's cliche to say it, but it's true, right? It's the joy of the Lord that keeps us going, is it not? So
Yeah.
it's the joy of the Lord. And I know that ultimately I have to look in the face of the Lord, and I don't want him saying to me, I gave you that seat. I gave you the power you needed. What did you do?
Yeah.
I want to be Peter. I want to, okay, you went a little too far, but God, I know why you did it, and I love you for it. So that's
Yeah.
what I want to be.
Well, you want to chop somebody's ear off? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically, yes. And I'm from Boston, so I'm good at it.
So let's walk me back down the timeline again. Okay, so you run twice, you lose, you win the third time,
Yeah.
you get in, you're kind of don't really have a team, you don't have a lot of other people with you. You go through all these different victories and losses of people that hopefully would be with you. Then you get crazy people. You don't get to a majority until just recently. And that, I mean, if we put that whole thing on the timeline, that's 24 years, man. 24 years. I emphasize that because I want people to recognize this stuff takes time, and you are investing in a generational fight. So the fight you've been fighting for 24 years is for now multiple generations of kids. So this is going to be a 50-year payoff, what you're doing, but it took multiple decades, and we are so immediate gratification, and we give up so fast. Most people in one election give up. You've been through, what, seven or eight elections?
And our elections aren't inexpensive for a little, quote-unquote, little town like ours. I've got to raise $60,000, $70,000 to run.
Wow,
and,
man.
Yeah, big,
Man.
It's really big money.
Yeah, to do it over and over and over and over again, and constantly have that kind of opposition.
Yeah.
Help me speak to people out there right now that do want to give up, that just feel like it's all for naught, and it's Trump's not doing enough, or my legislature's too bad, or my whatever the particular area is, local, county, state, federal, and maybe they've been in the fight for 20 years and they're not yet seeing the results they want. What do you say to them?
So first, I'm going to give you my spiritual answer, right? Thank God that when Jesus was being whipped, he didn't throw his hands up and go, okay,
Amen.
enough, I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are on your own because I know it ain't going to go. No. Bless God, that's one of the things that keeps circling around in my head. I'm not doing this for Joe. I'm doing it for his kids. Jesus said, send the little kids unto me. Not all screwed up and not indoctrinated. So we have a job to do. We're all different parts of the body. And you're right. My wife will tell you, there's some nights I came home and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I can't get anything done. They all think I'm crazy. And, what are we really getting accomplished? So you remember when the Katie Hill thing went down?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. They came up in big numbers to get rid of me. They wanted me to turn myself into the police and leave the board and all that other stuff. But I got to tell you, there's a few people who came up.
Just real quick, Joe, for our listeners that don't remember that, this is the congresswoman that had an affair with a staff member. I mean, I don't even know how much detail we have to, but it was bad, right? It was ugly. Yeah.
My first introduction to what a trouble was, but that's beside the point. Well, look at that.
Now we're really you're educating me. What is a trouble? I don't know. No, let's not go there.
She was married to a guy, and there was a woman involved who was like the third person in the marriage.
Okay.
No. If I had to put up with it, you got to go through it.
So
Anyway.
not quite. Is that considered polyamorous? Because I have heard that term.
Or
does polyamorous you got to have 5 or more? I mean, hey, guys like you and me and the Bartons and everybody, we warned.
Yeah.
25 years ago, we said if you redefine marriage, anything goes. They're going to start throwing cats and dogs in there too, which they are now with furries. But anyway, you are literally dealing with a member of Congress in that kind of a scandal. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, people, but then I never stopped poking away at our Christian friends, our conservative friends, and saying, you have to come out. Just because you voted for me doesn't mean you won. I've got people coming at me. I need, as you always say, we're a representative government. If I've got 70 people there saying, yes, I want boys and girls rooms, and I haven't got anybody from our side in there, what do I do? I mean, I know what the right thing to do is, but I represent the voters. I represent the people.
Need some
but,
backup.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, Rick? Over the first, 4 or 5 years, had very little. Then they started to show, and they started to show, and they started to show. And now I can fill that room with 50 or 60 people.
Wow.
Okay, and coming up and speaking.
How much? I got to selfishly ask, how much did Wall Builders and Patriot Academy and the classes and just kind of being able to get people involved, did that help at all? I honestly don't remember how much of that. Because you've got your own radio show, and so you're building up an audience, and you're able to motivate people through that show on a regular basis. So I genuinely don't know if our stuff has been a big part of that or not. I just want to ask.
So it's funny you should say that, because I tell people about Wall Builders and Patriot Academy all the time, and I say, look, about 70% of what I do now, I got the information, the foundation from the biblical citizenship class and Wall Builders. And when you came out and did the the founders frame.
Freedom's frame.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff and understanding what we can look. I go out there and there's once a year we have Bring Your Bible to School. That's on a Thursday. Our board meetings are on a Wednesday night. Well, I took my Bible to the board meeting, okay, and I actually recited a prayer by Benjamin Franklin, right? Our least religious founder. But when they tried to stop me, I said, whoa. I have the right to repeat the prayer of one of our founding fathers. I'm not praying. I'm just telling you what he said.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be ashamed. And you kids, you don't be ashamed of this. Don't be ashamed to live out your faith. And I got to tell you, Rick, the real heartwarming part of this is when I run into kids. Look, I'm the old guy. Nobody's going to walk up to me for no reason. I see some of these kids out in the community, and they'll walk over and they'll say, you know what? Thank you for sticking up for us.
Wow.
Thank you for being there for us, because we don't know who to turn to.
Yeah.
So I've been able to build up. I've helped start a couple of the TPUSA clubs here in town where the principals were kind of pushing back, and I tell the TPUSA kids, I want you to write an email to the principal, explain to them your rights, and copy me. That way, It lets them know somebody's paying attention.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. And that's and that's to have a TPUSA chapter in a California school district like that. That is probably tough, and you need the kid needs to know they've got somebody like you backing them up. What would you say are some of the toughest issues you're dealing with on the school board right now?
It's the stuff you hear about on a regular basis. All that political correctness stuff about transgenderism and parents. The teachers can't tell the parents that their kid is transitioning. Now, I'll tell you the beauty behind that. Another thing that this teamwork is required. You and I both know Brad Dacus from Pacific Justice.
Yeah.
So I get a hold of Brad, and I say, okay, what can I say? Where can I go? What's the boundaries? And how much bail money do you have for me in case I step over the line? He's been a fantastic help, because we have been able to push back. I had one woman who couldn't get any help from anybody on the board, and then she came to me. Her daughter was being socially transitioned, and we were able to stop it because she came to me, able to get Brad involved. We stopped that process. So we're dealing with that. We're dealing with kids who really the gay, not even transgender, gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever the other 29 designations are. We're dealing with that in the school because the teachers are wanting that to happen. They're wanting to teach the kids about that. And the best one we just dealt with is the flag policy. We were able to remove, now I'm in California, we were able to remove all the gay pride flags from the classroom.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah, it was
in
a little
California.
trickery there, but we made it happen. So
wow. Can we replace them with an appeal to heaven flag? Can we go that far? I'm just kidding. I'd love it, but
Rick, I wear my American flag and my Christian flag pin on my suit coat.
Nice.
And there's been twice now that somebody has come up and said, "You can't wear that." This is separation of church and state.
we're gonna lose our Wall Builders audience here in about 2 minutes. Would you speak to other people running for school board or on school boards that feel like they're 1 against 6 or whatever their situation is? Give them an encouragement as well.
Look, first of all, start every meeting with a prayer. Ask God for guidance and listen. That's number one. Number two is don't give up. You got God on your side, so don't give up. When you get in there, you know what's right. Seek godly wisdom. Like I said, I got a great foundation from Wall Builders to Patriot Academy classes that Rick put out, and then I've got legal support, if you would. And no matter if the other four kept saying no, I kept looking across at them and saying, "Hey, you mean to tell me you really have a problem with us putting up curtains so that the girls can change in their locker rooms without the boys seeing them, and vice versa? Really? Stay with it, but don't be argumentative. Don't be nasty when you put it out there. Just be matter of fact and simply don't give up."
Amen. Amen. Okay, all of our Wall Builders folks out there, stay with us. We'll be back in a moment with David and Tim Barton. Everybody else, we get to keep going. Okay, so still here in the tavern, and we're going to go to the chat in just a second and take questions for you, Joe, and for me too. Wall Builders is a 24-minute program, I think it is, 25-minute program, and David and Tim got to get their say in. So that's why we had to stop talking for a minute there, and I'll be sending that to David and Tim, and then that one will air tomorrow for all you folks that are with us tonight and going to watch tomorrow. But I'm going to get the chat open, and as I'm doing that, what is the in your opinion, when you look at the other people that are running in California? Like, I know you have people that come to you all the time and ask you, especially after biblical citizenship, they're thinking about running or they want to. Yeah. Are you hearing of other school districts that are at least getting started where, maybe they're where you were 10 years ago with yours, but there's at least an effort to turn it around?
Yes, they try. The problem that we have here, as you said, is the challenge. I don't want to call it a problem. The challenge that we have here is we're in California. That's number one. And the left seems to come out louder and harder than the right does, than the conservatives do. And they could be very supportive in the proper way, but you've got to guide them and help them. So if you just got on school board, or you've been on school board, and you feel like you're walking through molasses in the wintertime, here's what you do. You start to create a support team. That means go out and reach out to some of the moms that have sent you supportive emails. If nobody sent you an email, have a little coffee clutch. Say, look, at every Tuesday at 9 o'clock, I'm over here at Starbucks. Come on down, ask me questions. Let's get to know each other so that when you walk up to the podium, I don't think you're a nut job. I know you. I've got to talk to you. That has helped me tremendously because I will have parents reach out to me in big groups and ask me questions and work with me. So it's a two-way street. So you want to reach out to them too. Give them the opportunity to be with you, to come and talk with you, to get to know you, so you're not that bureaucrat sitting up there in the seat and not listening to me. I try to respond to every email I get. And as far as the trustees go, when you got elected, it wasn't to be at 2 school board meetings a month for 4 hours. I do 100+ hours a month in my school board, and that's reaching out to parents, answering questions, reaching out to businesses to get involved with kids, browbeating our Christian business owners that they need to get more involved.
Yeah.
You got to make a difference, and you have to work at making a difference.
That brings up, I get a lot of people now that are just like, burn it down. I just don't care anymore. I don't care about the public schools. I want them to fail. And I'm a competition guy. Like, I'm a school choice guy. I absolutely think parents should have the choice, and the ones that don't have the money, they should get the money that's being spent in the public school and be able to take it somewhere else if they can do a better job, all that. But and as we homeschooled our kids all the way through, I did homeschool, private school, public school, all three when I was a kid. But I am not going to leave kids in a burning building. And there are kids that and I'm not ready to say, that having any public school whatsoever is just a terrible idea and we should never do it. So just kind of address that for a second. Like, how do you deal with that question from people? Because we're around a lot of the same people that most of our friends are homeschooling or private schooling. They're not putting their kids in public schools for good reason. But we still work with a lot of school boards, State Board of Education. We're working on curriculum in Texas right now. How do you respond to people that say, just give up on all that and put all that time into alternative education?
Yeah, you know what? First of all, I do agree in the voucher system or however it comes down, you should be allowed to pick the school your kids go to, check it out, and be allowed to pick it. But, you're not going to see that happen in California for a long time. So in the interim, what do? You make it so that it's harder for these things to hit your kids. And when they first come to me, I say, look, you can't just shelter your kids, think that they're never going to have interaction with somebody else. So as you're here in the public school system, I need to know what's going on. I need to be able to help you. And a lot of people can't pull their kids out of school. A lot of people have got themselves in such a debt scenario that they both have to work. And grandma's a little too old to take care of your kids or to teach your kids or whatever. We did the same thing, Rick, although we did our last one when we homeschooled her when she was having trouble in high school, and the district wasn't helping me work with her. So when it comes to that, look, you're supposed to take care of your kids. You're supposed to make sure they're in the right situation. And I'm with you. You can't just burn the schools down. What about all those other kids who don't know what the truth is? And
not to mention just the sheer numbers, right? I mean, it's 70, 80% are still in public schools. So they're going to be voting in just a few years. They're going to be citizens. Don't we want it to be as least bad as possible? Let alone actually maybe turn it around and actually turn it into a force for good again.
Look, we have 23,000 kids in our system here where I'm at. And they did a voting day, and before they did that, in California you can register to vote at 16 and a half. Okay, wow. It doesn't allow you to vote supposedly till you're 18, but they started at 16 and a half. So I didn't get invited to that. You're gonna love this. I'll do it real quick. I didn't get invited to that. So we had our black, and I hate to say it, but our black, our gay, and our old non-Christian Christian up there talking to the kids. So when I showed up, I just showed up. They couldn't say no to me. So when the black woman said, "Look, I'm very excited because you guys are learning history, you're learning government, and it was because of the Constitution that my grandmother finally got to vote for the first time." And she went through all that. And then the gay fella said, "Well, I'm excited that you're learning about this because, we had a breakthrough. The SCOTUS finally agreed that I should be able to marry the person I've always loved." And so when Joe got up there, he did a Boston Joe on them, and he said, "You know what, Dr. So-and-so, I am so glad your grandmother got a right to vote, but do you realize that your party is the one that kept her from voting? You realize how the vote situation went down and that they were not for the amendments that were there?" I went to the gay guy and said, "Look, I'm really sorry, but SCOTUS should not be voting or ruling or having opinions based on emotion. The opinion should be based on the law." And some of the kids raised their hand and said, "But we should just wipe out the Constitution and start all over." I said, "Really? Maybe your government teacher could back me up on this one. We have an amendment process. You don't have to burn anything down, but you have to work at it. You want to change it, you have to work at it." And I was surprised at how many kids applauded at that. But they wanted to burn it down because they didn't know.
You said 23,000 kids
Yes,
in that school district? Is that what you said?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You're having a huge impact, bro. That is amazing. Okay, listen, I want to shift topics before we close out and talk about the Joe Messina show and what you're doing there. You've been doing this almost as long as I have. You've been 15 years now? How many years?
No, 15? You're right. 15 years, yeah.
Yeah, 15 years. And I think you probably get the same psychological benefit and detriment that I do. In other words, you get to vent by doing a show, and so that keeps you healthy. But you also constantly have to study what's going on, which means you're dealing with the good, the bad, and the ugly all the time. So tell me about being a host and what you like about it, what you don't, how people can listen to you, what you got going with the network you started, all this stuff.
I've been through, this business, right? So I've been through 4 networks now. Ones that just called me on Monday and said, "Hey, we're going down on Friday. You'll have to find someplace else to be on Monday." So, and I just got to believe it's a God thing, Rick, because every time something major happens, there's somebody there waiting to pick it up or pick me up or whatever. So I've got to believe that's a God thing. At first I did what everybody does. I just did the hot stories. Oh, look at me and look what I'm saying, look what I'm doing. But then I realized I had an opportunity here in a secular world to bring some God to that. So we do a lot of God stories, okay? I don't preach, but we do a lot of the God stories. We talk a lot about our founding fathers and their belief systems. And, I talk a lot about their letters to each other. And again, from Patriot Academy, from Wall Builders. That gets a lot of response there. So as the years have gone on.
And what a great opportunity right now for the 250th, right? I mean, you have an excuse to be able to talk about that. I'm going to have a ball
this year. Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, man. I love it. Sorry.
And by the way, for clarity, I'm the only guy in non-wartime to get thrown off the USS Constitution, just so we're clear.
What? What? Wait a minute. Okay, that story I gotta know. Yeah.
So when we were kids, right? I went to St. Anthony's Parochial School. So we would ditch school and we'd go over to Charlestown from the North End, and we'd make fun of the sailors because they looked to us like they were wearing girly stuff. So we would make fun of them, and then one kid would taunt them, and then when he went and grabbed that kid, the rest of us would sneak on the boat, or not sneak, but run on the boat. So there was one day in particular where we got grabbed pretty hard, and they showed us the little jails down below. They said, "You get in there, or you're leaving the ship, and we don't want to see you back here." So there's your.
Oh my goodness.
See, I'm a criminal.
How old were you?
Oh, heck, I had to be 14, 13, right in there. That was a great ship, though.
So now
anyway.
because you got thrown off the U.S. Constitution, now you have to spend your life trying to defend
Studying
the
the
Constitution.
Constitution.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
you're
studying
right.
the Constitution. That's so good. That's so good.
But-
Hey, tell us how folks can listen to you, man.
It's really simple. Just go to joemessina.com, joemessina.com. There are stories up there. There's ways to call the show. And, I will always call somebody back who has an honest question about an issue.
Love it. Love it.
Yep.
And folks can learn from you in Biblical Citizenship Week 8. It's the last week of the whole course, and you and Scarlett and Ken just give people tons of great ideas and encouragement on taking action and being involved. I wanted to have you on to talk about this, Joe, because I think a lot of the fights we're fighting right now are generational fights. So we're not going to see an end to some of these things. For 10 years, 15, 20 years. I remember just a month ago, I was at the Convention of States Summit, and Mike Ferris, who you know well, spoke at the dinner, and he talked about 25 years in the fight to legalize homeschooling across the country. It took 25 years. And then, of course, 50 years to overturn Roe v. Wade. You look at some of these big victories, and it's kind of like in business. You know this as well, right? It's the overnight success is truly a 30-year overnight success, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same in the movement. It's the same in getting real change in the culture. And so you just strike me as a great story to share with people, so that whether they're dealing with a county issue and land development, or they're dealing with an education issue, or whatever it is, to not expect to jump in this thing and have overnight success and everything change in just a short period of time. It takes time.
Yeah. I've had parents show up after 3 meetings. They'll reach out to me and say, "Look, nothing's changing, so I'm not going to keep coming." I say, "Well, look, we've been doing this for 30 years. You got to come more than 3 times, and you got to come more than 2. I need 5, 6, 7 of you coming." But Rick, I know you don't like this, so I'm going to say it anyway. Think about the amount of people you've reached, all right? You reached me so deeply when I saw what you were doing, and you had a family, and you were getting out there, and your love for God and your love for this country. It reignites me. It reignited me this weekend just seeing you up there talking about what was going on. So more people need to take this seriously and take seriously. God gave us this country. God gave us the Constitution. You really want to spit all over a gift that God gave you? Is this really? Do you want to get up there and go, Constitution? Yeah, I heard about that.
It's good, man. It's good. I thought it was so cool this weekend. It was surreal, actually, just being there together, 5 years later, to think about. That was magic that night. I think God moved. I think the filming, that whole biblical citizenship course came together, and there were so many miracles, even in the stuff that was taught, that David did, and so many other people. But that was a special thing that happened. Just having y'all on stage and getting those stories, and so many people have now been inspired by that to go do things. So it was cool to be back there together. And I wish Rob had been able to be there. He was in Israel, which was why I was there filling in for him. But what a great church, and so glad they're actually going to be doing Rebuilding Liberty after the first of the year. Scarlett's going to be hosting one there. So a lot of good stuff out of California, man. That's hard for me to say. No, I'm kidding. It's not hard for me to say.
No, it is hard. It's hard to believe.
I love you guys, and you know well. I mean, I speak there more than anywhere else, and there's so many good people there. And so, man, thanks for just staying in the fight, keeping the flag flying, so other people can rally. And I know for you, it's the same as for us. Over the years, people will rally, and then they wear out and they move on and come and go. There's just a handful of people that stay in the fight this long and keep that banner flying. And so, bro, hats off to you, man. Hats off to you. I am so excited about the victories you're going to get to experience over the next couple of years and how we're going to share those with the rest of the world. So keep it up.
I will, and you too. I can't wait for the new class either. I'll be down there. It's a drive for me, but I'm going down there to partake of that whole thing.
Love it, man.
Right.
Well, God bless you, Joe.
Bro.
Thanks for joining me. One more clank of the mugs here in the tavern. Still got your all right. Hey, Joe Messina, everybody. Thanks for joining us in the tavern. I will see you next week, and if you're watching Flashpoint tonight, I'll see you in 22 minutes over there with Gene Bailey. God bless everybody. Have a good night.